Welcome to the True Assassins podcast, everyone. All right, so you know how this works. You guys sent in Orlando Madsbrine's True Kill, and today we're going to take a deep dive into two stories from it. Two really unsettling stories. It's all about, when those secrets we try to keep hidden. Well, let's just say things get pretty deadly. Those moments when the hunter, becomes a hunted.
Yeah, and you were really interested in those, right?
Yeah.
These specific stories. You wanted to see what happens when you cross certain lines. One story is about, a very real kind of crime. The other, though, let's just say it gets a bit more spiritual.
Right. So first up, we've got Davy Jones' Bounty. This one, it's about a fisherman, Elias, and his catches. Man, they were amazing. But the method behind them, absolutely gruesome. You wanted to see how those hidden crimes, how they come to light. And this story, it doesn't hold back. We're talking a brutal reckoning.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then we're going into Devoured by Darkness. Chilling story about a shaman, Anya, who basically controls shadows. And she uses them for some pretty lethal things. I think this one really hits on your interest in power, how it can just turn on you in the blink of an eye. Anya's story, it's a terrifying example of that. So are we ready to explore these dark stories?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's start with Elias in Davy Jones's Bounty. So we've got this fisherman, right? And everyone in his village thinks he's incredibly lucky. I mean, just insanely successful. What's the vibe we get at the beginning?
Yeah. At first, you get this feeling of prosperity around him, almost like a charmed life, especially when it comes to fishing. The villagers probably saw him as a provider, right? The lucky guy who always brings in the biggest catches, a real asset to their little community. But then, as we find out, the truth is anything but charming.
Yeah, it wasn't just luck filling his nets, was it? I mean, there's something much darker behind his success. What was he really using the sea for?
He was using the sea for something way more sinister. It wasn't just about the fish. It was about hiding his own twisted actions. His net, it's described as this ingenious invention. And you know what? It was ingenious, but for a horrifying reason. It wasn't just for catching fish. It was for getting rid of people. The kind of people who wouldn't be missed. The drifters. The people on the edge of society. The sea was his silent partner in making them disappear. And it really makes you think, how could someone use nature like that to hide such awful acts?
Chilling. It's chilling to think about. He just saw these people as disposable and the ocean. Just this endless grave. But you know what they say? Karma always comes around. And the story, it sets up his downfall on this really stormy night. He even hesitates, right? Second guesses going out.
He does. Yeah, there's this moment where he's like, why am I doing this? Almost like a flicker of doubt, But his pride, his arrogance, it wins out. He thinks he can control everything, even the storm. He'd gotten away with so much hiding his crimes that he didn't even respect the power of nature, the one thing he couldn't control.
And that's when his perfect system, the one he built on all those horrible acts, starts to crumble. He's pulling in his net, and instead of the usual weight, there's this strange jerking snag, like a resistance that he's never felt before. What does that tell us about his luck running out?
That snag, it's like a wrong note in this dark song he's been playing. It's a break in his routine. The bodies he'd been dumping in the sea, they never fought back. But this is the sea pushing back. It's like the consequences of his actions literally coming back to the surface.
Then, bam! This flash of lightning, and it illuminates the most terrifying thing. A face, someone he knew, tangled in his net. An old enemy.
Not what he expected, right? I mean, what must have been going through his head at that moment?
Pure terror, right.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't just another random body. This was like a ghost from his past, literally pulled back up from the depths by the very thing he used to get rid of people. The panic, it must have been overwhelming. And then, immediately after, the desperate need to cover it up, to get rid of the evidence before his whole world came crashing down. So he tries to destroy the net, right? Cut it loose. But the storm, it just gets worse. And then this massive wave hits, and suddenly he's not in control anymore. The very tool he used for so long, it's turned against him.
The irony is just, wow. So powerful, right? The sea, the thing he thought he could control and use, it rises up against him. That wave, it's like a turning point. It strips away his power and uses his own methods against him. Talk about pride before a fall, right? Especially when you mess with the forces of nature.
And then his net, the thing he used to kill, it becomes his trap. It wraps around his legs, and the story even describes it as a scaled serpent, squeezing tighter with every wave. He's caught in his own deadly creation. It's almost poetic justice, don't you think?
Totally. It shows how connected actions and consequences are. The very thing he used to hurt others, to hide what he'd done, it becomes the thing that destroys him. And the image of the net as a serpent, it adds this like almost mythical element to his end. Like the sea itself is a creature and it's getting its revenge.
And as he's pulled under, he's sinking into this suffocating green twilight. And he has this vision. It's the faces of everyone he killed staring at him with this unholy satisfaction. They're described as this monstrous school of fish, and he's become the final catch. It's just so chilling and so fitting.
That vision, it's like the weight of all his crimes crushing him in his final moments. It's not even the physical struggle that seems to be the worst part. It's the accusation in their eyes. The sea becomes this mirror reflecting all the evil he put into it.
And then silence. The water takes his last breath, the net becomes his shroud, and he sinks into the depths. So, what do you think people are saying in the village the next day?
Probably just, another sad story. Another fisherman lost to the sea. They find his boat, and everyone assumes the storm took him. And his victims, the people he chose, they were already invisible to society. No one would notice they were gone. His secret, it stays hidden.
So in the end, it's just incredible irony. The guy who turned the sea into his personal graveyard, he becomes another body in its depths. A final tribute, this story says, to the merciless ocean he'd sought to corrupt. What a way to go. What do you think this story tells us about those hidden crimes? About thinking you can get away with things?
It tells us that secrets, especially dark ones, they always have a way of coming out. Even if no one else finds out, they eat away at you. The sea in this story, it's like a symbol of how those consequences always catch up.
Yeah, dark, dark journey into the depths. So let's switch gears now, move on to Devoured by Darkness. We're leaving the world of real-life crime and going into something more supernatural, something that explores what happens when you mess with forbidden power. So we've got Anya, the shadow bender. What's our first impression of her? How does she fit into the village?
She's this isolated figure, definitely. People are afraid of her, but they also respect her. I mean, how could you not, with her abilities? The village elders, they put up with her, but it's probably out of fear as much as anything else. And she lives in this hut that's always in twilight, which immediately tells you she's connected to the shadows, separate from the rest of the village.
Yeah, and she didn't settle disputes like everyone else, did she?
Yeah.
No talking, no fighting. She had this, disturbing way of using darkness. How did she do it?
Anya could control shadows. Not just her own, but any shadows. And she used them to kill people, their enemies. As someone gets sick or there's a weird accident, and the villagers, they just think it's bad luck. But Anya, she knew the truth. It was her power, unseen, untraceable. It makes you think about power in general, especially the kind that people don't understand.
So she's got this hidden power, and everyone else is completely in the dark about it. And then one night, she targets this young warrior, and something happens with his shadow, something different. It's like a sign that she's losing control. What was it?
That's when things start to go wrong for Anya. Usually the shadows just do what she wants, fade away, twist around. But this time, his shadow, it fights back, starts rippling, growing, turns into this massive inky storm cloud on the wall. It's like the shadows are becoming aware, resisting her. For the first time, Anya's afraid. She's not in control anymore.
So what does she do? She tries to take control again, force the shadow back in line. But it doesn't work. What does that tell us about her power? Was it really hers to begin with?
It shows that Anya was never really in control. She was tapping into something way bigger, way older than she realized. She was borrowing power, not owning it. Her will, which used to work on the shadows, it's useless now. It's like she woke up something that has a mind of its own.
And as she loses her grip, the whole room plunges into this impenetrable darkness. It's not just regular darkness. There's this buzzing energy, something that feels alien even to her. It's like the shadows are becoming something else, something more than just shadows. What do you think it is?
It's like the darkness is alive, It's more than just the absence of light, that buzzing. It's like this raw energy, something ancient, and it's hungry. The shadows aren't just tools anymore, they're entities. And Anya, she's what they're hungry for.
And the way they attack her, it's so different from how she used to use them. She was all about quick, clean kills. But this is slow, deliberate. The story even says they were savoring it. It's terrifying. Why do you think they're doing that?
It's like they're getting revenge. They're taking their time, making her suffer the same way she made others suffer. It's a reflection of her own cruelty. And she can't even scream out loud. She's totally trapped, helpless in her own nightmare.
And the whispers, remember?
Yeah.
The ones she used to listen to, the source of her power. Now they're a cacophony, torturing her. It's like she finally understands what her relationship with the shadows really was.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think she realizes?
She realizes that she was a fool. The whispers weren't hers to command. They were using her. She was just bait, a tool for something much older, much more powerful.
Oh.
And her power. It wasn't a gift, it was a trap.
And as they consume her, it's not just her body they're taking. They're taking her essence, her power, everything that made her a shadow bender. She's becoming part of them, a monstrous echo. What do you think that means?
It means she's gone, completely erased, not just dead, but absorbed. She becomes part of the darkness, a permanent stain on it. That monstrous echo, it's like a warning that she's still out there, but not as Anya anymore.
And her final thought. She understands that the spirits never served her. She was the one being used. The shadows weren't a weapon. They were an uncageable entity, and she was just the last meal before it moved on. It's like a warning about messing with forces we don't understand.
Definitely. Anya thought she could control something primal, something ancient, without even knowing what it really was. She thought she was a master when she was really just a puppet, and her ambition, it destroyed her in the end.
And then morning comes. Everything in the village is normal. Anya's hut, it's untouched. No sign of a struggle, no body, just gone. What do you think happened to her?
It's like she was completely swallowed by the shadows, leaving nothing behind, no trace. And that's even scarier, right? It just adds to the mystery. The villagers are probably terrified, and some of them, the ones who suspected the truth about Anya, they probably understand what really happened.
And the story ends with this chilling thought.
Hmm.
Maybe Anya didn't disappear. Maybe she became the darkness. A monstrous presence, always there, lurking just out of sight. A reminder of what happens when you try to control something you shouldn't.
It's like a ghost story, right? The idea that some powers, once you unleash them, they can't be contained, and the people who try to control them, they become monsters themselves.
So that's it, folks. 2 dark tales from True Kill, courtesy of Orlando Madsbrine. Davy Jones's bounties showed us what happens when you think you can hide your crimes forever. Elias's cruelty led him straight to a watery grave, victim of his own twisted methods. That makes you think, right? About what we try to keep hidden and how those secrets can come back to haunt us.
And in Devoured by Darkness, Anya's story, it's a reminder that even the strongest powers can have consequences. When we try to control things we don't understand, we risk becoming the very thing we're trying to control.
These stories, they're all about murder, secrets, the dark side of human nature. They make you think about power, about justice, and about how easily things can go wrong. We hope you found this deep dive thought-provoking. Thanks for listening to the True Assassins podcast. Don't forget to rate and follow for more addictive cloak and dagger stories.
Yeah, these stories, they really make you think about ambition and consequences, both in the real world and in the shadows beyond. Until next time, when we dive back into the dark heart of True Kill.